I remember the exact moment everything changed. Not the funeral, not the silence after the guests left, not even the sound of the casket closing. It was his voice, cold, sharp. Final. Leave. This isn't your home anymore. And then, his hand, the slap came fast, louder than it should have been. Louder than grief. Louder than the murmurs of relatives still lingering in the next room. For a second, I didn't react. Not because it didn't hurt, but because I couldn't understand it. My son had just struck me, 5 feet away from where his father, my husband, lay surrounded by fading flowers and whispered condolences. I slowly turned my face back toward him. My cheek burned, but the pain wasn't what shook me. It was the look in his eyes. There was no hesitation, no regret, only irritation, as if I were an inconvenience. I said, "Leave," he repeated, quieter this time, but somehow harsher. Behind him, his wife stood with her arms folded, watching like this was long overdue. Her lips curved ever so slightly, not quite a smile, but close enough. She had always behaved as though I didn't belong there, as if I were just passing through, a guest, in the house I helped build. I didn't cry. That surprised me the most. No tears came. No shouting. No begging. Just stillness. Years of love, sacrifice, sleepless nights, and quiet endurance stood inside me like a wall, holding everything in place. I looked at him, really looked. The same boy I once carried in my arms. The same child who used to run to me after falling off his bike. The same boy who once cried because someone hurt his feelings in school, and I stood up for him without hesitation. And now, he couldn't even meet my eyes, so I didn't say anything. I turned around. My suitcase was still by the hallway wall, barely unpacked from the hospital days. I pulled it toward me slowly. The wheels sounded louder than they should have against the wooden floor, each step echoing memories. 37 years in that house, 37 years of building something I thought would last. I didn't take much, not the photo albums, not the handmade decorations, not even the quilt I loved. I left those behind, but I took something far more important. Something they didn't even know existed. When I stepped outside, the cold hit my face, but it felt cleaner than what I had just left behind. Snow had started to fall. Light, quiet, steady. I walked down the driveway slowly, passing everything that once meant something. The garden we planted together, the car we finished paying off years ago. The wind chimes that used to ring every time my son came home from school. No one followed me. No one stopped me, not even him. I sat on a bench near the corner gas station while waiting for a taxi. The young clerk came outside, concerned. "Mom, are you all right?" I recognized him. Years ago, I had baked cookies for him during the holidays. "I'm fine," I told him. I wasn't. But I wasn't ready to explain that. The motel room was small, plain, and smelled faintly of disinfectant. But it was quiet, no tension, no cold glances, no unspoken resentment hanging in the air. I lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling for hours, his words replayed in my mind. "This isn't your home anymore." That sentence stayed with me, because the truth was, it was my home, every inch of it. Every wall, every payment, every sacrifice, and they had no idea. What my son didn't know, what his wife never bothered to learn, was that the house wasn't just in his father's name. Mine was there too, always had been. From the very beginning, years ago, when we first applied for the mortgage, things weren't easy. My husband had just closed a failing business. His credit wasn't strong enough. But mine was. I had a stable job, clean records, consistent income, so the loan went through because of me. Both our names went on the documents, both our signatures on every page. We built that life together, and when he got sick, everything changed. Hospital bills piled up, income slowed, stress became constant. So I worked more, longer hours, night shifts, extra jobs on weekends. I stretched every dollar until it had nothing left to give, but I never complained, not to my husband, and not to my son, because I didn't want him to worry. Maybe that was my mistake. Maybe silence made them forget. Maybe sacrifice, when unseen, becomes invisible. But I never forgot, and neither did my husband. A week before he passed, he called me into the room. He looked weaker than I had ever seen him, but his mind was clear. He handed me an envelope. "Don't open this yet," he said, "and don't tell him about it, unless you have to." I didn't understand at the time. I didn't want to, but I kept it. After his funeral, I placed it in a safe deposit box at the bank, along with copies of everything important: the mortgage documents, ownership records, and that letter. I never thought I would need it. I truly didn't. But then my son raised his hand to me and told me to leave. The next morning, I went to the bank, calm, quiet, certain. I gave them my details, verified my identity, and made a simple request. "Stop the mortgage payments." The banker looked at me for a moment, then nodded. "You are listed as co-borrower," she said. "You have full authority. Exactly, one decision, one signature." And everything they believed was secure wasn't anymore. By the time they realized what had happened, it would already be too late. I didn't feel powerful. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt steady, like something inside me had finally stopped bending. For years, I stayed quiet to keep peace. Now, my silence meant something else. It meant I was done.